For decades, the international civil aviation market has been almost monopolized by the two giants, Boeing and Airbus. For this reason, when China successfully developed the C919 passenger aircraft, European and American countries immediately began to use various means to restrict its development. In the review of the Airworthiness certificate, Europe and the United States even dragged their feet again and again, deliberately hindering C919 from entering the global market. However, what is unexpected is that the first country to issue relevant licenses for China's C919 is not Europe and the United States, but Vietnam. At the beginning of 2025, news came from Vietnam that they were considering removing some regulatory barriers and allowing aircraft manufactured by COMAC to enter the Vietnamese market for operation. This means that C919 may soon get Vietnam's flight permit, taking a key step towards officially entering the Southeast Asian market. So, why is Vietnam willing to open the door to C919 regardless of the positions of Europe and the United States? And why are European and American countries reluctant to issue airworthiness certificates for C919? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now let's get into today's topic. Have you noticed that since China successfully operated the large passenger aircraft C919 in 2023, Boeing of the United States and Airbus of France seem to have begun to fade a little? After the C919 was put into operation, it took only 5 months for the order volume to exceed 1,000. By 2024, with the addition of new orders, the total number of orders for C919 has exceeded 1,500. Moreover, this domestic large aircraft has accumulated more than 20,000 hours of safe flight in just over a year, carried out more than 4,700 commercial flights, and carried more than 700,000 passengers. For a new passenger aircraft, being able to achieve such results in such a short time is enough to show that the technical strength of C919 has been widely recognized. However, you may have questions. Since C919 has been recognized by the international community, why do we rarely see it in many international airports? In fact, the reason behind this is actually closely related to the Airworthiness certificate. The so-called Airworthiness certificate is actually a comprehensive certification of aircraft performance and safety. An aircraft that has obtained an Airworthiness certificate means that it has passed extremely rigorous technical and safety assessments and meets the highest standards of international aviation safety. Moreover, only aircraft that have obtained an Airworthiness certificate can operate freely around the world without any restrictions. Data shows that currently more than 50% of commercial flights in the world rely on the airworthiness certification of the US FAA, and the certification of the European ESA also occupies a very large market share. Therefore, if C919 wants to truly enter the European and American markets, it must first pass the certification of these two agencies. However, the United States and European countries have questioned the safety performance of C919 for many years on the grounds that it does not widely use Western parts, such as engines, and refuse to issue an airworthiness certificate. Previously, European ESA made it clear that the review process for C919 may take several years. This is clearly an attempt to delay time and prevent COMAC from entering the European market. At the same time, in early 2025, the Pentagon also announced that COMAC would be included in the so-called military enterprise list. Under a series of bans and obstacles, although C919 has technical and performance advantages that are not inferior to international first-line passenger aircraft, it has never been able to enter the European and American markets smoothly. However, it was not the United States that took the lead in issuing an airworthiness certificate for C919 in 2025, but Vietnam, one of its closest allies. After entering 2025, Vietnam is considering lifting relevant regulatory restrictions and allowing Chinese-made aircraft to operate in its territory. On the same day that the Vietnamese government officially announced this news, The deputy prime minister of the Vietnamese government also met with the management of COMAC in Hanoi. During the meeting, COMAC introduced in detail the technical advantages and actual operation of commercial aircraft, including C919, C929, C909, etc. This series of actions sent a clear signal. China's domestically produced large aircraft C919 may soon land in the Vietnamese market. If everything goes well, Vietnam will become the first country to issue a flight permit for C919. It is worth noting that Vietnam is not only an important member of ASEAN, but also a key component of the Asia-Pacific region. According to the International Air Transport Association, the Asia-Pacific region will become one of the fastest-growing regions in the global aviation industry in the next 20 years. In other words, if Vietnam receives the aircraft of COMAC, it will not only provide a platform for domestic large aircraft, such as C919, to demonstrate their technical strength and product quality, but also form a certain demonstration effect in the region, further promoting the expansion of Chinese civil aviation passenger aircraft in overseas markets. In fact, as early as the beginning of the development of C919, COMAC had already formulated a detailed plan for entering the international market. According to the three-step strategy, the company not only strives to meet international standards in technical design, but also develops wide-body, narrow-body, and other sizes of aircraft according to the market needs of different countries. It can be said that Vietnam's choice of C919 to invest in routes can definitely meet the transportation needs of the diversified aviation market. But all along, the restrictions imposed by Western countries on C919 are ultimately to protect the market monopoly of Boeing and Airbus. Before the advent of C919 in China, these two aviation giants almost controlled the global civil aviation market, and the emergence of C919 undoubtedly broke this pattern. Whether in fuel efficiency, passenger experience, or price, the C919 has demonstrated significant competitive advantages. Coupled with its excellent safety performance, it has become a strong rival that Boeing and Airbus cannot ignore. From the many difficulties that Western countries have faced in obtaining the C919 airworthiness certificate, it is not difficult to see that they are wary of this Chinese aircraft. On the surface, the safety review is delayed, but in fact, they dare not confront head-on and can only choose to close the country to delay time. However, against this background, Vietnam's news is undoubtedly a shot in the arm. If COMAC can take this opportunity to open up the market in the global southern countries, it is possible to achieve a strategic effect similar to small villages surrounding the city, a breakthrough in the market of developing countries. It is worth noting that after the news that Vietnam announced the removal of regulatory barriers to C919, it also aroused the curiosity of many people. Vietnam's aviation market has always relied mainly on Boeing aircraft, and it can even be said that it has a deep cooperative relationship with the United States. So, why did Vietnam suddenly turn to support COMAC? According to my investigation, Vietnam's aviation industry has encountered considerable trouble since 2023, especially because of the recall of engines by Pratt and Whitney of the United States. Among the 249 civil aircraft in Vietnam, 33 Boeing passenger aircraft had to be grounded due to technical problems. At the same time, the delivery delays of aircraft have become increasingly serious due to the global economic recession. Coupled with the tight supply chain and Boeing's suspension of production due to a large-scale strike, the delivery of new aircraft originally planned to be received by Vietnam has been postponed to after 2030. These problems have led to Vietnam facing a serious shortage of passenger aircraft. As a country whose economy is supported by tourism, the lack of enough aircraft to transport passengers will undoubtedly have a great impact on its economic development. During the global pandemic, the entire aviation industry was hit hard. But according to a report released by PYN Fund Management in 2023, Vietnam Airlines is expected to record the highest revenue and net profit in the company's history. In 2024, Vietnam Airlines stock price soared 179%, surpassing major regional competitors such as Singapore Airlines and Air China. Therefore, facing the urgent need for the current shortage of passenger aircraft, Vietnam has made a bold decision. Even if it may ignore the relationship with the United States, it must introduce Chinese aircraft to promote economic growth. Of course, the Vietnamese government has also made an estimate that once it decides to introduce Chinese-made aircraft, the Vietnamese Prime Minister will personally lead a delegation to visit China to negotiate with COMAC on the relevant matters of C919 aircraft order cooperation. Although some people are skeptical that even if Vietnam abandons Boeing and chooses C919, COMAC may not be able to deliver the order on time. This is not the case. In the early production stage, C919 had the problem of slow delivery. However, with the full acceleration of the production line, C919 has entered the mass production stage. It is expected that COMAC will produce 30 C919s in 2025, and in the next 3 years, it plans to increase annual production to 100 or even more to meet the needs of domestic and foreign markets to the maximum extent. Therefore, as long as Vietnam signs a contract with China, C919 is fully capable of filling the gap in Vietnam's air transport capacity in a timely manner. At the same time, the good news that C919 has obtained Vietnam's airworthiness certificate seems to have also driven the progress of other aircraft projects in China. For example, China's new passenger aircraft C929 and C939 have also had a lot of exciting news recently. According to official information, the first flight time of C929 has been basically determined and is expected to be realized in 2028. By then, this new model will bring more choices to the international aviation market. As for C939, although it is still in the pre-research stage, news of promoting research and development has also been reported at the end of 2024. Once C929 is put into operation, COMAC will have more production lines, which will not only ease the pressure of C919 order backlog, but also provide international customers with more diversified product choices. Although Vietnam has not yet announced the purchase of C919, it is certain that they have already considered purchasing Chinese aircraft. Vietnam has not placed an order yet, most likely to wait for the birth of C929. If C929 is put on the market, Vietnam may prefer this more advanced large aircraft as the focus of future cooperation. To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.